Hey, my name is Neal. Welcome to the Experience Podcast. This is in this video, there's multiple facets to it, but I'm gonna start by speaking to Natural Balance Masterclass. And what Natural Balance Masterclass is, it's a masterclass for nurturing balance and cooperation inside of a person. And that is and does ultimately lead to healing. And like essentially, healing is when you're experiencing oneness, and to experience is to see it and to feel it. Uh, Welcome, Dennis.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this natural balance masterclass, it's occurring every Monday, and it's at 5 o'clock p.m. And you're invited. And it's on Zoom, and the direct Zoom link is in the description of this video. And additionally, in the description is a donation link. So if you support the real, if you support the authentic, and you actually want to contribute to see more of this content, to actually hear Neal express his voice, to actually hear Dennis express his voice, and to contribute to that, to forward that, and to forward somebody opening up their heart and being vulnerable, and to forward uh, regeneration of food, and to forward regeneration of water, and of Earth's resources, then this donation will go to all of those things. And uh, welcome, Dennis. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Dennis.
And with imagination, imagination is I'm starting to view imagination as being one of the primary, like, creative tools for creating reality. And I think that it does this by us having imagination and then focusing on it, and not only just focusing on it one time, but continuing to focus on it. And then with this continual focus, I think what is once imaginary becomes physical manifest. And so I think reality is relative, and I think it's relative to the degree of what we can imagine. And um, because what we can imagine and continue to focus on, we can stand and be inside of. And so, imagination. What do you got, Dennis?
On imagination, is that
Yes.
the context of
Yes.
which we're speaking of? Um, yeah, like it's a lot of it's everything really. Um, and you already mentioned that reality is. I think you said reality is subjective, if I heard correctly.
That's what I like inferred, but I didn't directly say that.
Yeah. Um, So, me just sitting here and being in the seat and looking out across, you know, what I perceive to be as real. Um, my imagination, uh, if I'm not present, I'm living in stories. And so, when my imagination is not present, when I'm not present, my imagination is very likely running on in a story of things, circumstances, and situations of something that isn't real, and who knows what is real. And when I say that isn't real, I'm saying that it's probably coming from a context of fear and not of love. And so when we're present and we can use our imagination and we focus our imagination, now we're using our imagination to create from a place of faith and knowing that everything is perfect and everything's working for our good. And so that's what's coming to me at the moment.
Yeah, and I just heard something that imagination, like you leave the present moment to imagine. And when you imagine, you're either imagining the past or you're imagining the future. But if you start to imagine in the present moment, you're already leaving the present moment to imagine. And so I noticed this, that to be present, you've actually got to let go of imagination.
Mm.
And to imagine, you've got to let go of being present. And so you can go into your imagination, let go of presence, and through this, return to presence after you've imagined, and then I think there's another piece here where you actually let go of the thing that you've imagined and surrender it. Because if you're attached to the thing that you're imagining, you're going to actually repel it. Because attachment and aversion are like, they work against each other. And so if you're attached to it, you're going to push it away. So you want to just be open to receiving it, but not need it.
Yes. And now you're walking by faith and not by sight. When you let go of the thing, we can imagine something, ask for it. It's very interesting because literally just we had a Bible study at Grace 2, well, like a day ago, yesterday morning, and and it was like an hour-long Bible study in the last 5 chapters of John or something like that, and God literally says He wants us to ask. He wants us to ask for whatever we want, like we're His children. And so my point in saying that is when we use our imagination, we have faith, it can be the most powerful co-creation with God. Like it's the most powerful co-creation tool ever. So yeah, that's what I got at the moment.
What else do you got at the moment?
Well, I just woke up from a 45-minute nap and I'm feeling really present, and I love how imagination can be used for good, because in the past I've like throughout my life I've lived in stories, and they weren't even, I created the stories, but it was all bullshit, and it still is. And the way that I can measure what my imagination, how my imagination is being used now, is the fruits in my life. And back then I was living in a state of fear, and I was prepping and looking at, everything that I thought that the government and that the world was, where the world was going. And so I lived in these stories, and I literally got so afraid that I would be in these stories of fear like 24/7, like just all the time. And my body was tensed up. And when we use our imagination to co-create with God and other people around us that are going in the same direction, the fruits are way different. And when we use our imagination, like Neal said, and we ask God for what we want, and then we let go of it, there's miracles all around us in every moment. So that's all I have at the moment.
And yeah, so um, imagination as a co-creative tool for reality. So literally using imagination and conscious attention to focus on what is divine alignment for the highest good of you and for the highest good of the collective. Through you, possibly, but possibly just the highest good of the collective is the highest good for you. And having imagination be a tool, a method, a format of a creator using it as a tool of co-creation. And with that, I love you. Thank you for being here. These live streams are happening every Wednesday at 3 o'clock p.m. And be sure and be here for these. Some of them are short, some of them are longer. And what they all are is invaluable expressions of a heart and of hearts. And that's priceless. There's no amount of money you can put on somebody's heart, on somebody's soul. There's millions of dollars paid for people's souls, and then the physical body dies, and then the soul's paid for. But how much is it really worth? Is your soul worth eternity? Uh, I know my soul definitely is priceless. And because I know this, I know yours is also. I love you. Peace.